Hi Nazar, this is Ben with the last video. This video is going to be very short, very informative for you to be able to maintain your machine. I mean, do your maintenance, oil changes, and what have you. Let's start with oil change, and then we'll go around the machine and show you what other areas that you need help as far as, you know, replacing the stuff in the future. So, as far as the oil change, there is a hose here, which has a plug at the end of it. In order to drain the engine oil, first remove the top cap, then go ahead and use 11/16 to loosen this by holding the coupling with a 7/8. That way you'll be able to remove this plug only. Now you should be able to drain almost 2 quarts of 10W30 out of this engine, and of course replace it with 2 new fresh quarts of 10W30. Now another thing when you do as far as oil change is replacing your filters. I'm gonna send you few filters, enough for your next few hundred hours to be replaced. When they come to you, once you take the filter out, you need to use some of the old oil and rub it against the gasket seal right here. That way once you put the filter in, it nicely seals against the engine, of course after checking to see if the oil gasket is not left on the engine. So make sure there is no gasket from the old oil filter on the engine before you screw the new one in. Now how often you change your oil? Every 50 hours. Remember the magic order, 50 hours. So the first 50 hours you need to change the engine oil, pump oil, and the blower oil. We're gonna go to the pump, see how it needs to be replaced. By using a flex funnel, you should be able to simply place it here and loosening that nut using a 9/16 wrench, and you'll be able to drain all that oil out and replace it with 12 ounce of straight 30. Your blower system could be drained right here, the very bottom plug, you can see it right there, and then this is your level. That means you're gonna start putting oil, which is 80W90. That's what I've been using for years, from the top. As the oil drains from the side plug, the bottom one, that means you have enough. Now of course your daily lubrication of the blower, it helps the interior of the blower to be preserved and stay good, but the oil changes, they're required for the internal moving parts. Now another areas that you might run into do a service, let's say your belt breaks. You do have a belt on the machine, which is a Goodyear 834, but what we have done for you, we have left you an additional belt around the shaft of the blower, so in case if you need to replace it, let's say about 1,500 hours, 2,000 hours from now, you don't need to separate the machine. All you gotta do is just cut those tie wraps, release the belt. You'll be able to slip it over all of these pulleys to the front by removing this cover, which the pulley of the pump is located in, using a 7/16 wrench. These 2 bolts are welded from inside, so all you gotta do is just loosen these 2 nuts, remove the cover, put the new belt back on. The way we design our system, there is no tensioner here, so all you gotta do as soon as you put the new belt in, by you tying those 4 bolts, you're gonna have perfect tension that would be recommended from our factory. Now so I am sending you some more belts, so now you have enough belts to probably last you about 6,000 hours. Now there is another area that you might end up replacing, which I'm gonna send to you. It's called Quadriflex, which they do wear down over the period of time. This is what you have on your engine. If you look in there, right under that wheel, it's called flange, which is on your engine, and you have a same one on your blower. If you come and take a look again through that, I can reach in here and touch it. Okay, now these 2, they join together by this Quadriflex or element, or sometimes they call them inserts. Either way, this is how the blower is powered. Your engine is turning, and at the same time it's going to turn the blower. Now under severe abuse or under incorrect method of operating of this machine, eventually this piece of rubber is gonna get weakened and it will break for safety, because you don't want any other damages done to the machine except a piece of rubber break. Let's say somebody accidentally uses this machine to deflood a pool, which is not a pump. This is not a pump, this is a carpet cleaning machine, or extremely suffocate the machine for hours and hours to come. Eventually this rubber has to give up and break. To replace it, it might look very compact and very difficult, but it is very easy. Take a look. All you gotta do to replace that piece of rubber, there is a union here that you'll be able to loosen. If we go to the other side, you have another one right here. So now your pump is separated from the heaters. Looking down here, there is 4 bolts, 2 on each side. Right here, one is here, one is here. Come to this side. There is 2 more bolts right here, which you're gonna use a 9/16 to be able to reach from underneath to hold them and also loosen them. By removing these 4 bolts and having the heaters disengage, you'll be able to simply pull the engine forward, take the broken piece of element or inserts or what have you out, put a new part in, put the engine in place. The way you get it lined up, just like the way we did in factory, it is to put the engine in place. Of course, don't forget to raise the engine just like the way we have shown on top of those washers. First, you insert the bolts into the engine platform, but you do not tie them. You come in, you go ahead and tie your 2 exhaust nuts first, then you go ahead and tie the engine nuts. That way you get a perfect lineup, exactly the way we did it from Houston. Other than that, this is pretty much it. As far as the operation of it, I've shown you, and as far as the maintenance of it, just basically, like I said, oil changes. The magic number of 50 hours, every 50 hours is good, especially with the climate in Kuwait, which is very hot. I do recommend frequent oil changes. Now, like I said, every 50 hours, change the first 50 hour, change the oil on the engine, blower, and pump. And then for next 450 hours, skip the oil change on the pump. That means do another 9 oil changes in the engine before you do your second oil change in the pump. Other than that, that's it. This fixing to be boxed, and it's going to be on his way to California to get processed by the custom. And as soon as I obtain a clearance from US Custom, I'll definitely send it to you through email. I do want to thank you again and again for putting your trust in our company for us to build your machine, to power you with your daily operation. Thank you, Nazar. We'll talk again. Bye-bye.